We'll blaze a trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders never fail.
Welcome back to another episode of the On the Fence podcast, y'all. It is week 15, and our commanders are still losing. Yes, this episode is called the Tanking Bowl. This is the Losers Bowl this week, y'all, because winner messes up their draft chances. So winning actually hurts the teams in this particular matchup. So we're going to talk a lot about all the things that our commanders need to do, how winning it would impact us, how losing would impact us. We'll talk a little bit about the game itself and the match analysis, go briefly into that, and then we'll just talk about what's to come because as we all know, the season is done. So right now we're just playing for the vibes, y'all. So shout out to everybody who is in here. Remember, if you're not already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this post with everybody. Of course, this video will be available on YouTube afterwards. So let's get that going. Shout out to everybody joining us on IG. Shout out to everybody here on YouTube. Let's get this party started. How's everybody feeling today? Yo, what up, Danny? What up, Josh? What's up, everybody? What's up, Daryl? How everybody doing? Father Josh, what's up, man? So I'm going to the game tomorrow. Won't be mad with a win or a loss. HETC. Let's go. We got Jaden doing it last time. They the best team lose. How could we ever? Hey, listen, y'all. We're gonna find a way to do this. Knowing our team is gonna be crazy, man. So we're gonna talk about all of that today. And yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's hard. It's hard right now in Commander Nation. It really is, man. Taking all these L's and things like that. It's real tough work, but it's all good, man. I'm still optimistic. As you can see, I got my hat that has the heart on it because I still love my team, regardless of what they put out on field. So I'm just here for the vibes, and hopefully y'all are as well. There's always next year as Commanders fans, we should not be shy of saying that because that is something that is well versed in our vernacular. But this game is probably one of the most important games we're going to play this season because to let them hype up Dart, they can have it. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw on Hard Knocks, Mike Caffrey was getting all those boys up, and he's talking about going 4-0 in the last 4 games. They can have it. They can have it. Let them have it. At this point, I said it last week after we were losing. I wouldn't mind seeing Sam Hartman out there. Like I want us to go out there and lose like that. Keep Marcus on ice. Keep Jaden on ice. Josh Johnson might mess around and be competitive. Put put Sam Hartman out there, y'all. Let's let him go out there and tank correctly, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, let's jump on right in. Let's talk about this losing bowl. Of course, the Commanders are on a we're on currently on an 8-game losing streak, and the Giants are on a 7-game losing streak. So one way or another, somebody's gonna have to break their losing streak in this matchup. So who's it gonna be, right? I'm saying ANC put Sam Hartman in. Let's go ahead and tank properly, right? Let's do this. Let's do this. So we know that coming into this matchup, both teams are facing a little bit of injury. I'm going to go ahead and pull the injury report up to start this off. Give me 1 second. Let me get my ducks in the row. Let me share my screen up with y'all so y'all can see this injury report we got going on. Where we at? There we go. All right, let me tap in with the injury report. There we go. So this week, as you all can see, our boy Jaden is out as he should be. Drake Jackson, I don't even know if we're gonna get a chance to see Drake Jackson this season. I kind of have my hopes up, hoping he'd make an appearance, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So no Drake Jackson once again. Jonathan Jones is also out. Chris Rodriguez is questionable. So is Debo battling the illness. Noah Brown, we know he's going to be playing because he is a captain this week. George Fant, he's been on the injury report, but he doesn't get PT anyway. But Terry, of course, just has some veteran rest, but we know he's probably going to play. How much though, we don't know. And Bobby looks to be a full go for us on there. Not too much to say, right? Injury report would matter more if we were actually trying to win this game. Since I feel like this is a tankathon and winning would actually lose us. Not too important, right? Honestly, I want to see all the young guys play. None of these vets actually move me. But prayers to Zach Ertz. We all know that's pretty tough. That might be his career, and hence why I want to see guys like John Bates get out there a little bit more and see if Ben Sinnott was truly worth that second round pick that we bargained for him. So let's see how that goes. On the Giants side, as you can see, their injury report looks kind of like how ours has been looking these last few weeks, it's a laundry list, man. They got a lot of guys on there. Um, Notable ones that I saw is Kayvon Thibodeau being out. We also see that where's my guy right here? Dexter Lawrence is questionable. I don't know if he's gonna play. Honestly, they're in the same boat as us. They're not really playing for much, so why risk it with a guy like Dexter Lawrence? Brian Burns is healthy though, so we got to watch for that. Yeah, they got a lot of guys on here, guys that honestly don't matter. Hate to break it to y'all. If you're a Giants fan, you're watching. These guys don't matter in this matchup. Y'all should be wanting to lose this game as well. So none of these guys really matter. That's my stance, and I'm sticking on it. So yeah, that's the injury report going into this particular game. We know Marcus is going to be starting, and I like that for continuity purposes as much as I'd like to see Sam Hartman because I want to tank proper. But Marcus is going to give our team the best chance to be competitive in this game. Definitely I think he can run this offense a little bit better right now just because he's not dealing with any ailments. He's playing fast. He's a veteran. He's going to allow the young guys to also play fast. And he's going to be able to lift them all up on this one while Jaden gets right. JT Marshall said, I do think we win the last 2 games of the year, unfortunately. Yeah, we have a way of being competitive in the moments where we don't need to be competitive. That's just history speaking for us on there. See, ANC said, I want to see young guys play with effort. Cliff to genuinely have them. Yeah, for real. Cliff definitely needs to give them some real live opportunities on there. I really want to see Cliff get real creative in this one. So scheme a run game that plays to build strength, get those TEs involved, legit passing game. Yeah, man, this is the time to play around. This is the time to experiment. Let's get that going, right? Marcus starting though is going to be good for us, man. Of course, on the New York side, Jackson Dart is going to be starting. Look out for them to do some trickery with JMO and everything like that. Funny story. I actually have one of my one of the kids at the school I work at. Huge Commanders fan. Love this kid. But he and I were talking about the squad, and he was like, "Who's the Giants' backup?" And I mentioned Jameis Winston, and I was like, "They could start Russell Wilson." And the kid was like, they'd probably start me before they started Russell Wilson. So I thought that was a pretty good laugh, and I just wanted to give him a shout out on that. I'll let him remain nameless because he's a kid, but very funny for that one on there. That kid would probably do better than Russell Wilson at this point. Key matchup to watch in this one. Yeah, Marcus definitely has more rhythm, ANC. But the matchup I'm going to be watching in this game is our run game versus their run defense. Giants' run defense isn't that great. Our run game is good. So if we are going to win this game, which y'all know how I feel about that, it's going to happen on the running game. Like ANC said earlier on Instagram, we want to see Cliff scheme some of these guys up, right? If we are going to go out there and try to win this game, let's be exotic. Let's get our guys in the rhythm. Let's get some things going. Let's build for next season, even though we don't know if Cliff will be joining us next season. Let's kind of keep that energy going, man. Somebody asked, would I trade Ben Sinnott for Isaiah Likely? Absolutely. I would likely do that. Absolutely. I don't even think we would have to trade Likely, though. I believe he's on the last year of his deal. Let me look that up and not mislead you all, but definitely I would do that. I like what Isaiah Likely brings in the passing game. He's a solid guy. I was high on him coming out of ECU. Oh, no, he's not out of ECU. He's out of Coastal Carolina. Sorry, wrong Carolina. But let's see. Isaiah Likely. Let's see where his contract looks like. He's on a 4-year. Yeah, this is the last year of his rookie deal, and he wasn't a first rounder, so they don't have an option on there. So he's definitely going to be a free agent. I would 100% pursue him in free agency because he's a great piece, especially with Zach Ertz going out, Daryl. I think Isaiah Likely is the most likely option for us out there right now. I do think he'll bring a lot of juice to our offense. Nancy says, not sure if the Ravens take that without us throwing something else in there. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. But we wouldn't have to do that. And the Ravens just paid Mark Andrews, which lets us know that they may not be willing to pay Likely the same way. He's had some injury troubles and so on and so forth. Now, if we're talking about tight end trade candidates, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts would be the one that I would go after if I was talking about somebody to trade. But yeah, we know how that could go as well, too. ANC says that's the issue with our young players. Not enough tape for any of them to be valuable. We're kind of stuck with them. Yeah, absolutely. JT said Pitts. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We're stuck with a lot of those guys. Maybe Johnny Newton, but Johnny's kind of been he hasn't put a lot on tape as well too. He's been boo booing a few moments as well too. So that might not give us too much leverage in that regard. But yeah, like I said, as far as keys to this particular game, I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be watching our run game versus their run defense. Their rush has been pretty good. Brian Burns, I believe, has 13 sacks on the season, so that's something that's gonna be interesting to watch. He's probably gonna get after Marcus. JT, you talking about Kyle Pitts? Let's see. I think Kyle Pitts may also be on that contract. Let's go ahead and get that information as well. Kyle Pitts contract. Let's see. Doing some Googling. Yeah, well, he's playing on his 5th-year option right now. Yeah, so unless he gets franchise tagged, Kyle Pitts is also going to be a free agent. Absolutely. Good call, JT. Yeah, so we got some choices out there in tight end. As much as I don't want to write off our boy Zach Ertz, that injury was gruesome, man. I watched it again on Hard Knocks, and it was very sad to see how he went down. And that might be it for a 35-year-old guy. That might be it. I mean, I'm not even 35 just yet. I damn near threw out my back brushing my teeth just off of coughing. So I know what an ACL might do for a 30-year-old guy, 35-year-old guy. I'm 34 myself. So yeah, I don't know if we'll be seeing Zach Ertz again. That might be it, as much as we hate to say it. But I would love for him to get the Ryan Kerrigan treatment and come back as an instant coach for us, maybe an assistant tight end coach. I would love to see that if this does end up being Zach Ertz last season. Same with Bobby Wagner. We need to go ahead and re-sign him next year as an assistant linebacker coach. I love B Wags, legendary guy, but when you watch the tape, man, it just seems like the game is passing by him. His body just isn't doing the things that he would like it to do when he would like it to do. Yeah, Ansi says people are bouncing back from ACLs quickly, though. Something about the technology. Yeah, I wouldn't count him out yet. It's just the age thing, though. I just feel like the age is the reason why I don't know if Zach will return in the NFL. But who knows? Alex Smith came back, so anything is possible. Anything is possible. Sorry about that. In the words of Kevin Garnett. So let's get that going. So this game, as we know, the Losers Bowl. I can go into game analysis, but I don't really feel as though that's going to be the most effective use of all of our time today. We know that both teams are losing. We know that we have a strong run game. They have a strong pass rush, but their defense is a little lacking in there. We know they have Jackson Dart. They've had some injuries at the wide receiver position. So it's honestly going to be uh, this game could go either way. Somebody's going to have to lose. What I would like to do is talk a little bit more about how this game is going to impact the draft status for both teams, because that's going to be the important thing, and that's what makes this game so important is the draft status and how that's going to play out in this particular matchup. So this game, currently, both teams are top 6 in the draft. I believe we're at number 6, while the Giants are at number 1. Let me pull up my notes on this for you all real quick. Losing this game, I'll take you through some of the scenarios that impact that. Un poquito, un momento is what I really meant to say. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how this game is going to impact all of us in this game. So if the Commanders win, it's going to send us down the board. Currently, we're at number 6. And if we win this game, if we lose this game, it's going to put us in the top 5, which is really great. The reason why us being in the top 5 would be useful is because we only have 6 picks if you count the compensatory pick that we're going to get for Brian Robinson. That puts us in a pretty tough spot. I believe we have our first rounder. Let me put this up on the screen for you all. So these are the picks that we currently have according to sporttrack.com. We have our first round pick. We have our second round pick. We also have our 5th, 6th. We have a 2-6 because of the compensatory pick that we're going to get from the 49ers for trading Brian Robinson. And we have a 7th. So currently, if we're at number 6, if we were to lose this game, we would solidify ourselves in the top 5 of this draft pick. What does that mean for us? Yes, we can get a phenomenal defensive talent in the first round, especially in the top 5. But even better, we'd be in the opportunity to trade down, especially for a team that might be very needy at quarterback or perhaps tackle or any other hallmark positions, maybe running back, my guy Love out of Notre Dame. There are some teams out there that might really be looking for some players and be desperate to trade out. If we're able to solidify a top 5 pick, I could easily see Adam Peters trading out of that, gathering us some more draft picks, maybe get us a second round pick, fourth round in the process, and maybe let's say we're in the top 5, right? We're able to trade out and we're still in the top 15. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade out again out of the top 15 because when it comes to defensive talent, you could get great defensive talent anywhere in the first round. Honestly, anywhere between the first and second round, you can get hallmark defensive players. So I'm hoping if we are able to solidify a loss and get in that top 5 pick area, we would really be able to leverage that and make some things shake for ourselves on there. Now, what happens if we win this game? Of course, we're going to fall out of there. We'll be behind because our strength of schedule will have a couple other teams that would beat us out on there. Now, if the Giants happen to win this game, they're gonna be out of the number 1 pick. Right now, they might still end up in the top 6, top 10 for sure, but they will no longer be eligible for the number 1 pick, which they currently are right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see that on there. Don't trade out too much. We don't have we haven't done well with projects. I agree with you on there, but I feel like honestly, anywhere between picks 1 through 32, you're not getting a project at that part, especially on defense. I feel like you're getting hallmark guys 1 through 32. So I'd be open to if we're in the top 5, I'd be open to trading down somewhere between 10 and 15, and then trading down once again somewhere in the 20s. Just as long as it's not with the Eagles, I'd be open to it. Y'all know we can't let how we keep finessing everybody. So currently, as I mentioned, we're number 6. If we win, it'd be an irrelevant win that take us out of the running. The Giants, if they win, they would lose the number 1 pick. It would bring them to 3-11, and their strength of schedule may not help them out in that particular standpoint of things there. So that's something to watch for in this particular matchup on there. Now, how y'all feeling about this so far? What would y'all prefer to see the Commanders do in this draft? Would you prefer for us to trade out and get back now, or did you prefer for us to stay put and kind of get a really good talent if we do end up in the top 5? Go ahead and drop that down in the comments for me, and we can wrap about all of that there. Now, I'm sure everybody would agree, and you could tell me if you disagree. ANC says trade and stay in the top 15. I like that. We need a defensive overhaul. Honestly, that's what I want to see in the first maybe 2, 3 picks. Well, let me take that back a little bit. I need to see us do some stuff on defense, but I would also love to see us help Jaden out as well with some receiver talent and maybe a tight end if we aren't able to secure one in the free agency. Nancy says she doesn't trust the talent depth in this draft. It's a weak draft. Understood, but trading out could also give us opportunity to leverage for some players, right? Um, Especially, in the second round, if we're able to if we trade down, we get a second round pick, we can get some other players as a result of that as well, more established guys as well too. And not to mention, there's going to be a lot of quality free agents that come out there, especially a pass rusher and other things like that. But what's that one tight end, not tight end, linebacker, Gonzalez out of Texas Tech? Man, if he's sitting there waiting for you, especially somewhere in like the 15s or 20s range, I would absolutely snatch up a guy like that, especially since it looks like our guy Bobby Wagner is on his way out. Not trying to call retirement for Bobby. I love Bobby. I love everything he brings to the league. I love everything that he brings to the game. But, we need some younger talent. We got to make those things work. Yeah. Yeah. See, using players for those picks, you trading picks for actual established players could be something that we leverage, right? Especially if we have a high pick. Who knows? Maybe that could be our ticket to somebody like Myles Garrett, even though I may not necessarily want to give up that money, but who knows, right? Somebody like Trey Hendrickson is also going to be a free agent. Hopefully he doesn't get franchise tagged again on there, but definitely trading down. I'm in that camp. You all let me know. Sound off in the comments if you're not in that camp, but I'm all for trading now. We got to look at the elite NFL units in the NFL. They're super young and fast. Absolutely. Look at the LA Rams with Jared Verse and all of those guys flying around there. We need some of that young, speedy talent on this defense. And honestly, that's like my focus on this one because offensive line, in my opinion, this season was one of our bright spots. So I want to see us lock up our left side. And Chris Paul, I want to see us lock up Larry Tunsil. I've already heard rumors about that being something that's in the work. Let's get that going. Houston, yeah, there's a lot of guys. You're right. Houston does have speed on all three levels, and we need that. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in another elite tight end. Not tight end. Sorry, I'm misspeaking. Cornerback. Another elite cornerback would also be very great for our team right now as well too. I trust Amos, but we know that Lattimore has been up and down, and with another ACL, I would rather see Lattimore get moved to safety or something if we are going to keep him around. Uh, yeah, definitely CB and safety are the top things, along with a pass rusher. We need those on there. We need cornerback, we need safety, we need a pass rusher. Yep, Mikey and Quan definitely need some time. What do I think about Deuce Robinson? He's at Florida State. Um, Deuce Robinson, let me see. I'll be honest with y'all. I was so enthralled with this season so far that I haven't really paid attention to college as much as I should have. Let me look up Deuce real quick. Answer is yes. I would take a guy like that, especially if he's sitting there waiting for you at the end of the first or second round, or at the top of the second round if we're able to trade back, especially in a trade back scenario. Somebody like that, 6'6", yeah, man, his numbers are crazy this year. He has 56 receptions and 1,074 yards and 6 TDs. We need that big body. I do want us to keep Trey Burks around, but I do feel like having somebody like Deuce around would definitely help out. Thankful it's all the Texans draft picks against each other. They have the Commander second, fourth. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right about that. Wow, we would definitely be making them. Yeah, yeah, we're making things easier for the Texans as well. They could use the help, but we could use the help any even more. Now, I want to lock in and continue to talk a little bit about the offseason because, like we know, this game really only matters in regards to what it's going to do for us in the offseason. So I'm going to stay on that for my last segment. I want to look a little bit ahead, right? I talked about it briefly where I want to see our left side of our offensive line get locked up a little bit. Chris Paul, re-sign that guy. I want to see you go ahead and re-sign Laremy Tunsil. I want to see those things happen. Uh, Beyond that, we're in a pretty good position salary cap wise. We got some quality. We have some money. Currently, we're sitting around what 60 million with the potential to make it $100 million going into this. It all from because we have about what 40. We have quite a few free agents. Like a lot of guys on 1 year contracts was going to free up some money. If I've heard talks about Deron Payne being a trade candidate. As much as I love that guy and I don't want him to go anywhere, there's some opportunities, even restructuring contracts, that we could free up some money, or we could potentially end up having about $100 million to work with in this offseason. But currently, we're sitting at least 60 million, which is still a significant enough number to make some things shake, right? Especially if you do some backloaded contracts, switch some stuff to bonuses, restructure some of the guys you already have, get them some more money up front. We can really make some things happen on there. And that's where I'm going to look to see Adam Peters do his thing. Now, I know it's been tough. I've heard some people calling for DQ's head, for calling for AP's head. But just remember that these guys, it's only their second season in this organization. I think we need a little bit more time before we start calling for their heads, and we need to support them and let them cook a little bit, right? We've been talking about let AP cook, let AP cook. Like let those guys do their thing. Like we gave Ron Rivera 4 seasons. We gave Jay Gruden 5 seasons. Those guys only went to the playoffs once. Like we went to the playoffs in our very first season, and not just the playoffs. We went to the NFC Championship. This season, do not forget that it was marred by injury. So going into this offseason, we need to solidify our depth, use our money, and put our money where our mouth is, and really get some quality guys. No more bargain bin shopping. And I feel like that's what we'll be able to do, especially if we're able to lock up a top 5 draft pick going into this game, man. It's going to really make some things happen. Santiago Bond, you want to see more guys on 2 year contracts? I agree with you. The 1 year contracts are cool, especially if you have aging vets that you want to kind of just take a shot at. But definitely lock in some guys like Frankie Louvu. I feel like was one of the only guys we signed for like 3 years. Dietrich Wise, I think, was also on like a 2 or 3 year contract as well too. So I want to see more of that, man. I definitely want to see us get some longevity, get a little bit of continuity going on there, and we're gonna need a defensive coordinator as well too. So I'm looking at Atlanta right now. I'm looking to see what they're gonna do. There's some other guys on there, but Raheem Morris may end up being on the hot seat, even though I never like to see black coaches one and done or 2 seasons in, and right out. But hey, if he somehow gets let go, I want him to be our defensive coordinator. I think we should bring Traylon Burks. Absolutely. Burks needs to be locked up for a long time. Like, let's go ahead and lock him up for 2, 3 years. I don't think he would cost us too much. Let's go ahead and just lock him in. And like you mentioned earlier, Brandon mentioned Deuce Robinson. If we, no, Daryl mentioned Deuce Robinson. If we can get Deuce Robinson, lock up Trey, I'd be okay with something like that. Oh, ANC, you said Todd Bowles is on the hot seat too. Woo, man, that'd be okay. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it. It's a rebuild. This offseason will tell me how all I need to know about AP. Absolutely. I feel like this is really the offseason where we judge AP and how he can really cook. So Flores is a DC. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere though, man. He's locked up in Minnesota. I don't think Kevin O'Connell's gonna let his boy Flo go anywhere, but I would love to see it. I love Flores. I love the way he coaches, man. He deserves to be a head coach, but we already know the NFL's BSing on that. But yeah, she said, "Y'all know I don't like Cliff, but we might stick with him." Cliff. Honestly, I'd be okay with sticking with Cliff. I just would love to see Anthony Lynn get a little bit more of a hand in the play calling. I feel like getting under center just a little bit more, doing some of those things that we tried to do a bit in Minnesota. Those are like Anthony Lynn type moves. I would love to see a better cohesion between those two guys. I don't know what it's like. I'm not in the locker room, but I do think Anthony Lynn would lead us in the right direction because he's a little bit more old school, but I think he can get creative as well. Tomlin, JT Marshall, you said Tomlin? Man, if Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach for the Steelers, he will be a head coach somewhere else faster than any of us can blink. But that would be a dream come true if we can have Mike Tomlin as our defensive coordinator. That would be a dream come true. I will take it in a heartbeat. Doubt it, but I would take that in a heartbeat. Way too respected. Yeah, I agree with you, ANC. He's way too respected to get that. Same with Flo. I feel like Flo, they love Flo so much in Minnesota that we'd have to like throw the book at him, maybe make him the assistant head coach or something. Like, I don't know if we'd be able to get that, but I do like what's the guy's name from he's the DB coach for the Bears, and we tried to get him last year, and the Cowboys blocked it. What's his name? Why am I? It's not Willie Gay. Why am I messing up his name right now? Not Ben Johnson. Hold on, let me look this up. It's gonna bother me if I'm not able to tell y'all who the DB coach is. Uh, Al Harris. We can get Al Harris as our defensive coordinator. I'll take that. Unpopular opinion. I'm okay with keeping Joe Witt in the building, just not as a defensive coordinator. I wouldn't mind him being like a quality control coach or something like that. I would absolutely take that as well. Yep, Santiago, you're on it. Al Harris. That's the name that I needed. Yeah, Al Harris. I would take him as our DC in a heartbeat. 100% on there. But we have cap space. We have some holes, and I want to see us really be aggressive this offseason. I want to see us go after it, get some guys, man. Like, no more bargain bin shopping. Like, we need some guys, we need some dogs, and we need to stack up on these draft picks, and that all happens based off of what we do tomorrow. I think we're the type of team that's going to end up winning out. I just love the fight and the grit that these guys play with. But from a fan standpoint, what I want to see going into the offseason, lose this game. Like I said, start Sam Hartman, activate Sam Hartman, have him be your third string. Somehow, Marcus, I don't know, he pulls his back while brushing his teeth like I did this morning and can't play no more. Something, man. Like, let's let Sam go out there and tank proper, right? Let's go ahead and get that. Belichick, for crying out loud, went to UNC and it's not as far fetched. Belichick, man. Whew. Yikes. I don't know, man. It goes back to the respect level. I don't think Bill Belichick will come back to the NFL to be a defensive coordinator. As much as I would love that idea, JT, I don't think he would come back to do that, man. I would like us to be a run first instead of a pass first, but we kind of are a run first defense. We're just always running out of the shotgun, so it doesn't always feel like it. But we are a run first defense. I want to see us get under center, run first offense. Sorry, I want to see us get under center just a little bit more on that one, Santiago. But we're talking off season right now. I want to talk about. I've talked about the offensive line and how that's a strength in locking up Tunsil, and in the defensive side, not just in the draft, but we talked about it a little bit earlier. Like, let's get aggressive, right? Let's get some free agents. There's guys out there. There's some quality young guys who are coming out on free agency. I am always a little skeptical signing pass rushers out of free agent because it just always feels like you're not getting the same guy all the time. So I am a little bit worried about that, but I do want to see us be aggressive going into this one. We got to focus on that defense. Maybe the return of my guy Cam Curl. I would love to see him come back. There's some guys that we let go who I wouldn't even mind having come back and join us in this one. Yeah, ANC said he not leaving UNC. He had a really good recruiting class. Yep, absolutely. I don't think Belichick is going anywhere. Yeah, we got a hit on the draft pick. Yep, absolutely. Honestly, if we can lose this game, man, we'll be in a good conversation when it comes to the draft. Unpopular. I think if we're in the top 5, I wouldn't be surprised if AP trades back twice, right? If you're picking, let's say we're picking number 5, and you could trade back to like 12 or 13, and then trade back again to like 22 or 25. I would absolutely do that because you could still get some defensive talent. You could get some quality talent, especially if we're getting something like first round picks out of it. Heck, maybe we end up with the first pick. If we end up with the first pick, I would easily trade somebody 2 or 3 future first rounders for that, right? So we got to really get that going. But to NC's point, we're also helping out Houston with this as well too, because they do have our other draft picks on there. So that's going to be interesting to see. Houston is going to come up off of that. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all too long. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. I wanted to get on here and just talk a little bit about how this tankathon is going to impact all of us in this one. I do feel like, I love seeing our guys be competitive, and I always want to see my team win. But I would rather see my team win next year, if you know what I mean. Shout out to all my guys who are on that team, specifically Bill, my guy Kinlaw, all y'all, man. Love y'all. Want to see y'all do great, but this would be one of those times where it's okay to lose, man. Like, it's okay. I'm okay with that. Unpopular opinion, but I know those guys have too much pride. And as an athlete, if I was out there in a gladiator like them, I wouldn't want to lose either. So, the game could go either way, but I'm all in favor of if we lose this game, let's let's do it, man. Let's get a better draft pick. Let's set ourselves up to win more in the future because next year is going to be a great year. It sucks saying that as Commanders fan. I feel like we're always in a position where we end up saying next year, but I truly believe it, especially after what I saw in the first year. I think Jaden got his lumps in this second year. I wouldn't call it a sophomore slump because he didn't play enough games to slump out, in my opinion. But I do think he's going to learn a lot from what happened this season. He's going to come back next season even better. I appreciate everybody who has been locked in with us this entire season and last season. Before I get out of here, let me just give y'all my prediction for this game. I would love to see us lose this game, but something in my gut tells me that we're probably going to mess around and win it. So I'm going to say this is going to be one of those 25-17 games with the Commanders getting that W, even though I would like to see us not do that and mess up our draft spot. I'm going to say it's going to be 25-17, something like that, or 24-17, something like that. Or maybe it might be one of those Jake Booty games where we just let him kick all day long. Whatever it is, I want to see our draft picks hit, like Daryl said on there. I want to see us get better on the draft side of things. That's what I have for you all. Let me know in the comments who you would want to pick in the draft and where you want to see us pick this season, this off season. As always, thank you all for everything. Thank you all for tapping in with us. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try to come back at y'all during the week with some more content. Maybe get a special guest on here where we could just talk a little bit more about Outlook. Maybe we do a recap of what happened on Hard Knocks. We're still gonna be here with y'all. Daryl said 22-17. It's a rough season, but like the captain of the Titanic, we got to go down with the ship, man. This is our team. My boy Dana Gasaway always says, "My team is my team," and I love this team. So I'm never gonna stop loving the Commanders. We're always gonna stay locked in, win or lose. And I will see you all on the next run, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Let's enjoy this tankathon. Vote Sam Hartman for starting quarterback tomorrow. It's like, nah, I'll see all y'all on the next one. Raise hell, raise hell. Let's go.
We'll blaze a trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the Commanders will prevail. off to the final play. We're here to win.